I've had so many people want to climb in that suitcase and go next week. I'm like, you can't get any more in it.
I really don't want to go to.
I just
So I
want to
bought
hide
it on,
someplace so where nobody goes, but I can ask for a better.
Going in Mexico.
Port Alerta.
I just came back.
We'll open the March meeting of the CEDC loan committee with the approval of the minutes. I'll accept the motion if everybody's read them or got questions.
So moved.
Second.
We got a motion and seconded. All approved?
I,
So moved. Moving on along to the loan committee charter review. Mike?
We have in the packet the revised charter that Andy and Howard and Sarah Sterling worked on. And part of the exercise was taking the charters for all of the committees and conforming them in a format that read the same, had some of the same headings in the same order, so that at the end of the day, you weren't reading 5 different versions of formats of charters. I think the loan committee charter certainly refers to its purpose, the powers of the committee, and the composition of the committee, and the meetings, refers to the meetings. We do have under the composition of the committee that committee must consist of at least 5 independent members of the board of directors. Independent members are everyone but the ex officio members, and if, for instance, I was on the board, I would not be an independent member, and I'm not a member of the board. Anyway, I'm just an officer. And that the loan committee may have up to 3 non-board members. We haven't done that. We were looking at that as a possibility of engaging on a rotating basis some bankers, but I think we found that although that option should remain in the bylaws and the charter, I think that it gets cumbersome, and part of that was when we couldn't get a quorum for loan committee meetings, that we put that in there. A majority of the committee members present shall constitute a quorum. And I think the charter interplays with the loan policy, which you approve and the board approves independently, as to what authority Martha and I have with respect to loans, what authority that this committee has in terms of level of loans before it goes to the full board, and then what loans based on the policy go to the full board. So those items aren't in the charter, they're in the policy manual, which is approved separately. So unless there are any questions, Mr. Chairman, I would recommend it for approval.
yeah,
Are there any other changes?
I was looking, I don't know, last night, worried, and I thought there were some things missing, but I see today, I don't think they're missing, so.
Okay, see, appeared overnight.
Them elves are hard at work.
Whatever,
All right, so we got a motion,
I'll second.
we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Moving along to number 3, the committee 2022 evaluation.
Lisa?
This is the total of the responses we received. You all agreed with the criteria. I think you're doing a really good job. Very agree, your page, looks like a chart. So, thank you for filling it out. We should get back to-
All right. We got to approve that.
I do.
Need a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and seconded, all approved.
Aye.
Okay, so moved. Now interest rate discussion. I guess that would be Mike or
I
Martha.
think there's 2 interest rate discussions. One is I reported to the finance, I will report to the finance committee on Wednesday, but we are looking at increasing interest on bank accounts. We have almost $2 million in bank accounts, and when no one was offering interest, didn't really matter whether you were getting 0.005 at one bank or another, or what account you were in. But now that you can get, 3.5 to 3.6% on certain deposits, we're looking at that. I think this, and we'll have a full report for that at the board. And we did budget $10,000 for interest income this year, which several years ago we had almost $20,000 a year in interest income. And then when it dropped, it wasn't something we could book. The issue that does come up is because we have to keep the SBA funds in tranches. And because the one tranche is for the amount of loan, it's funds that are available to lend, and where the principal payments and interest payments go. And then the other is the reserve account. Because those balances are smaller, you can't really get the same rates that we're going to get on a $400,000 CD. So, Martha, you wanted to talk about interest rates as it relates to what we charge the customer.
Yes, I'm not sure we brought this full circle. At one point, I was pushing for 6.25%. Steve was very helpful and contacted several other intermediaries to find out what they're charging. It was fairly useless because most of them would give a range, and it was anywhere from 4% to 13%. Mike, I know you were comfortable going up a full percentage point, but not beyond that. And so I am recommending 6% at this stage. I've looked at what home mortgages are, which are right around 6%. Car loans are at about 7 to 8% right now. I think 6% won't scare off any customers. And if we want to revisit it in 6 months, we certainly can. But we're
Commercial
below.
loans are what, like 7 or 8? Commercial loans?
That we were really unable to determine. I was able to find out what a commercial line of credit is charging that's unsecured, and that's around 12% right now. So yeah, that information isn't readily available because banks look at this on a case-by-case basis. But I don't think we would find many banks charging less than 6%.
What would we do with the Columbia Forward loans?
Those would still be at 3.75.
So that there would still be an option for people to,
If they met that
if they
criteria.
met that criteria.
And we do have a few clients that are working already on their business plan, and we've asked them to do some revisions, but they're already counting on 5%, and we would honor that commitment. We didn't commit, but I think going forward, we want to, I've been telling people rates will rise, but I haven't been able to give them a number. And I think 6% is safe.
I do think it makes sense in the context of having the banks not feel that we're competing with them. And we're still below their rate, and we're still serving the mission of supporting fledgling businesses that are starting, or small businesses that are trying to hang on or expand. And I do think that we should be, but I would never want to see us at 13%. As a government funded operation, I think that we're now at a point where we're making $75,000 a year in interest on both portfolios. And the way to increase that revenue is to put more loans on the street. But I do think going to 6% makes sense at this point. And I like Martha's idea of reviewing it from time to time.
When was the last time it was changed?
Oh, boy.
Well, we went to 3.75 during COVID because it was what the government was charging on the EIDL and on the PPP loans. And since we were using the same SBA type funding, I think we increased it maybe 6 or 8 months ago.
Oh, I think even longer.
A year ago to
Yeah.
5. And but we still had the 3.75 available for if they qualified for the county loan fund, the county Columbia Forward program, which is SBA and county loan fund.
So we need to, anybody got any discussion on that? I do believe we need to approve this and recommend it to the board.
I think that's what you should do. Yes.
So I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Have a motion and seconded to increase the interest rate to 6%. All in favor? So moved.
Thank you.
All right, the portfolio dashboard. I guess you're still up.
Yeah, you have this in your packet. We don't have any loans yet that are 90 days past due, although I think we're pretty close with one. And we have, so one is at 89 days or thereabouts, and then we have another client who has 2 loans who is just under 60 days past due. We're working with both of them.
Also, handed out again, I know we may have had this at a previous meeting, but when we looked at, we're getting ready to put the annual report together. And when you look at the CEDC loan dashboard from 2015 to 2022, you'll see we've done over $4 million in loans, 162 individual loans. We assisted over 415 businesses, provided technical assistance to over 500 businesses. And Martha has had 87 people graduate from her micro business program. And out of the 4 million, we've only written off 150,000. So, we, when we look at this, I think it's a testament to the work that Martha has done over the years, and that now Steve is working with her to continue. So thank you, Martha.
You're welcome.
We need a motion and a second for approval of the portfolio dashboard.
Second.
Seconded, motion made and seconded, all approved, so moved. Moving along then to Upper Shire loan request.
Thank you, Ken. I sent out the loan request, the detailed loan request and business plan to all of you last week. It's pretty straightforward. This is a Hillsdale business. They're looking for $25,000. They do qualify for the Columbia Forward Grant, which is 10% of that amount, or $2,500. This will be a 72-month note with a monthly payment of $388. The interest rate is 3.75, as we discussed earlier, because it is a Columbia Forward loan. They're going to construct an A-frame cabin on their property to complement the tents and the other campsites that they already have available. And our collateral will be a personal guarantee of both principals as well as a lien on all business assets.
Did we have something in our charter where we weren't doing construction loans? Or is that something?
It's not a construction loan,
Okay.
which is a bank term. This is basically to allow them to build that A-frame. They already have their quote, they already have their building permit, and it's not a house that won't have indoor plumbing. It's basically another campsite that is enclosed and will allow them, I think, to have guests in inclement weather and maybe extend the season just a little bit.
They're renting on Air, are they on Airbnb?
No, they use Hip Camp.
Hip Camp, okay, because it looked like they had the worksheet from someone who had, okay.
Yeah, last year was their first full season. It's a seasonal project, and they're never, the revenue is not tremendous, but it's very helpful to these 2 individuals, and they're working on paying off the mortgage. They have a very small mortgage on the property, and I think they're going to be successful.
I'm always amazed at the new, every business is so different.
It's true.
Yeah, now I want to go camping. Just like,
And did they purchase a plot of land next to where their primary residence is?
Yeah.
They extended it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And actually another question has popped up. There's no pushback from their town with their campsite or anything like that. 'Cause I know there was one in, I think, Clover where they were.
Oh, and she's on the board.
She is.
Yeah,
Okay.
Joanna's
Yeah.
on the.
So I think they're being very cautious. They already have the building permit, and they do require a, what is it called? They have to have a permit to,
Rental permit.
yeah. for
Short-term
short-term
rental.
rental.
Yeah,
Short-term rental.
permit.
Yeah, and we won't close on the loan until they have that.
You don't have that yet.
Yeah, they haven't applied for it yet. They're waiting to hear from us.
But that's primarily to register so that they can collect tax.
Yeah, and they're seasonal, so really shouldn't be an issue.
But I know both in Ankrum and in Claverick, these types of projects have had significant opposition. I think it's based on the size of the project.
Yeah, I don't think they envision having more than 6 sites.
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
that property.
Camping has become very popular. We have
think
a
the-
small camper, and we tried to find a place for it over the summer. And Camp Wabika in out there, one of the popular spots, we got a 3-year waiting list.
Oh, my goodness.
So I wish them well.
The project in Claverick was 90 acres, and the getaway house cabin was on wheels. And they were going to rent between $125 and $400 a night. And there would be up to 50 unsupervised campfires, according to the people who were opposed to it. So, they were going to have a significant number of sites, and I think it also was on Route 23, and they would about traffic. And I know in Greene County there was one that just got.
The one in Ankrum hasn't been approved yet either. has it?
No,
That's just out past the paper mill.
yeah. So
So this one will need to go to the full board, but we're looking for a recommendation from this committee.
I'll make a motion.
The motion and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
So moved.
Thank you.
And that'll go to the board next week. Okay, I guess you're still up, Margaret, or Martha, sorry,
No problem.
on 711 County Route 3.
Yes, we've done this on several occasions. I'm proposing that they have 2 loans. One is a CEDC loan, one is an SBA microloan, and I'm proposing that we use CEDC funds to buy out that SBA microloan. We've done it before,
How much?
roughly $24,000, I believe. We may extend the term, we're going to modify the loan essentially and try to lower their monthly payment.
There, you discussed this with them?
Yes, but
Okay.
they are hard to communicate with, and I haven't received any indication that they're willing to come in and sign documents, but I'm gonna push for that as long as I have
I'm
approval
just,
from this committee.
you recommended something that just want to know if they're on board with it too.
I'm hoping they will be. I think it's gonna help them out. They're smart. Yeah,
If it's
they're not
smart.
always the best communicators, as I've mentioned.
We don't-
We didn't put here that we required an approval, but I really would like to get loan committee approval to make a change.
I was going to ask that too, because there's no star by it here,
Right.
so,
Right, right.
so we, a motion and a second for this.
Second.
Motion and second there. Anybody got anything? All right, all approved?
Aye.
Okay, so moved.
Thank you again.
You're still up?
And this is just an FYI. We did close on a $5,000 loan. It didn't require committee approval because Mike has authority for loans of $5,000 or less.
on your recommendation.
And you might be familiar with Jim's small engine repair.
66.
Yes, and this is not the first loan we've made to him. We made him a loan several years back and he repaid it in full. So we were comfortable making another loan to him just to help him out with working capital and inventory.
It's just information only then. Okay. All right, with no other further business, I mean, unless you got something else, Mike?
No, I think it's in good shape, and the pipeline, what does the pipeline look like?
The pipeline is full. We're getting a lot of calls and it's a real mix. There are new businesses getting started. We've met in the past week with a couple of businesses that are growing and they need cash in order to expand. And we have met with a few that just are paying down higher interest credit card debt. They just use the credit card and it's a way for us to help them out and improve their cash flow.
One thing that we are looking at, interest income on the loans. is they're running ahead of budget, so that's good. When we multiply it out, it'll be about $15,000 more, especially with this new interest rate. Thank you.
You know, is there any public? No. Nothing on, nobody's on, okay? Then I guess I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion.
Another one,
Still,
Miss
you
Vicky.
know, you use
It's
different
catchy,
words,
isn't it?
so, you know.
We got a motion and seconded for adjournment, all approved.
Aye.
So moved.
I believe no one from the public. Scintillating.